Alright, so I'm going to do a replay analysis. I'm going to do a replay analysis of Magifelix. He is a challenger EW player who is also a pro player as well, and he's well known for playing as Katarina. He hit rank 1 in EU when he just spammed Cat, so pretty sure he's going to do a lot of crazy things that maybe I can like look into and that we can all learn. So, okay, let's see. So I want to know his runes. I'm pretty sure, okay, AD, health per level, AP. So this is a very like early game heavy rune page where he's looking to get pretty aggressive. Especially against the Kassadin, it was not a bad idea at all because, you know, Kassadin is a melee champion, so you're going to be trading a lot. And you don't want Kassadin to just poke you down throughout the lane anyway. He has Biscuits, so I could assume that he is going to go Dark Seal. And he doesn't get the Intelligence Mastery. I'm assuming he's just going to play around that. So yeah, he also gets Double-Edged Sword, which is interesting. So he's going to be taking more damage, but again, Double-Edged Sword with the Biscuit from the Dark Seal and all that added up will give you a lot of sustain. So you taking that little extra damage early will be compensated for with the Biscuits that you have. And yeah, let's see. So they go for an invade. Nothing really happens. Let's just skip to the laning phase. Okay, so he leashes for his jungler. Got quality dropped. Hold on. Okay. Damn, I think I actually need to lower the quality here. It's probably because I'm streaming at the same time. Alright. So he takes the Q from Cass just so he's able to walk up and get the CS. If you notice here, like, he wanted to walk up for the CS, so he wasn't hesitant to take the Q. He knew he was going to take it. So he just walks up, takes the Q. He might even be looking for any kind of auto attacks as well. Okay, so he's going to go back, take the second Q. He has Biscuits, so he is able to sustain. He's looking for a trade here. Ooh. Procs the Thunderlords. Okay, so let's see the mindset behind this. So his Q is down. So he goes in, he walks really close, without even throwing the Q. So he walks up really close before he throws out the Q, so that he makes sure he's in auto range. So he throws out the Q, autos, and Kassadin was going for these mage minions, so he did take advantage of it to trade with him at level 1, which is really smart by him. Autos, and then Kassadin goes back for another auto, but Katarina actually was able to even out the trade with Thunderlords. But he's going to take the Q afterwards. Just know that, remember, Dark Seal allows you to sustain early game, and it allows you to sustain fast. So it's pure early game start. Okay, so Jarvan does come for a level 2 gank, which may help his lane out a lot. So he takes a lot of damage there. He hits 2, so good thing Kassadin flashed, or else Katarina would have been able to go in and ignite. So Kassadin has no flash, so Magifelix is probably going to play around that. Let's see, both his abilities are up. Okay, so he shoves in the lane. Wave's in a pretty bad spot for him because it's like up close to the tower, so he might end up just shoving this. So I wouldn't be surprised if he throw a QE here. Yeah, as you can see, he is autoing the minions. Is he gonna E back in? Kassadin gets too close. Interesting move there by him. So as soon as he hits 3, he W's out. This does 1 and 2 things. So if you see how far he actually runs out, it could bait Kassadin into thinking that he's safe, that he's not going to engage, or he's just running around trying to do something else. So Kassadin does end up blocking out. But on top of that, the dagger is also on top of the cannon. So if Kassadin tries to go up for the cannon, looks like he was trying to do something. Maybe walk up to auto the minions or whatever, but he was able to punish that with a really nice trade. So if you see, Kassadin burned both his refills while he only has one left. So he has one potion. He just popped one. So he is going to be healthier than Kassadin. That Jarvan gank did help a lot though. Okay, so we have a ward here. So even though he's not really able to get too aggressive on Kassadin, he's playing up because he knows where the jungler is. Okay, he is going to shove it in here because he expects Kassadin in the back. And then let's see what he buys. He buys a null magic and 2 pots. So null magic could either go into 2 things. It can go into Hex Drinker, which would be good into like you know, it can go to 3 things. It can even go into like Merc Treads if you really wanted to, but Hex Drinker right now wouldn't be bad because Kassadin, Gragas, and Kog'Maw all do magic damage. So let's see, is he pulling the wave here? I think he is, or he went for a ward. Yeah, he actually went for a ward and pulled the wave at the same time. So if you see, he controlled the wave here. He kept the wave from hitting the tower. Warded at the same time so that the minion wave actually stays in front of his tower. Smart move by him. Now Kassadin's gonna be pretty afraid to walk up. Is he gonna shove in here maybe? No, he just did that to get the CS, but as you can tell, he is not hard shoving. He wants Kassadin to walk up. And he's playing up in the wave because the moment Kassadin tries to go for a CS, he will be able to jump on him. Okay, so he gets the cannon with Q. His Q is down, yep. He's gonna, oh no, he's not. Okay, there was actually a pretty weird combo. But as you can tell, Kassadin Q was down from him using it on the cannon. So he's gonna take advantage of that. But the thing is, I don't agree with the W here. The W here. He probably could have like W'd if anything, and then ignited. That probably would have been better. And then as soon as Kassadin started going this way, he should have Q'd and then autoed, and that probably would have been a better result. But maybe he was assuming that Kassadin was walking back. If Kassadin did decide to just walk back, he would have been able to hit both daggers. But Kassadin made the smart move and moved upwards. So as you can see, like the way he's controlling the wave is he's pulling the wave close to his tower so that Kassadin has to walk up. But now he's gonna shove in the wave because Kassadin is healthy and does have kill pressure on this guy. Kassadin doesn't have any abilities up. Kassadin does not really want to walk up and fight him under his minions, and Magifelix knows that. So Back's here. I'm wondering what he's gonna get. Yeah, it seems like he's gonna get Hex Drinker here. And the MR in this game will be very useful because they have 3 pretty big magic damage dealers like Gragas, Kassadin, and Kog'Maw. Okay, so the CS lead is 36-35. Goes in for a ward here. He's gonna shove in the wave because Kassadin is back. He's gonna kill the pink. Okay, so let's see. It looks like he's going down for bottom room. So if you see the position of his team here, you see Jarvan, you see Nautilus, and you see Tristana, right? It's kind of hard to see. But Jarvan, Tristana, and Nautilus are all around bot side. So if Katarina is there, it would make the dive that much more guaranteed onto the bot lane. And his bot lane is going to get very ahead because of it. So let's see. See it unfold. Yeah, they're going for a dive. But someone... Ooh, they're going to walk up here. Q. He throws a Q. Damn, he can't go on it. Okay, never mind. Oh, Jarvan actually does decide to go in. Okay. He's gonna probably jump out here. Nice. Okay, so let's see the thought process here. So honestly, this dive should have probably worked better if Tristana or someone else like pushed out the lane. If they pushed out the lane, then they would have minions to work with for this dive. Okay, but he sees the dagger there and he's looking to play around it, right? Jarvan actually does go in, tank the tower. He goes in. It looks like he tries to ulti, but it doesn't really get anybody. Kog'Maw jukes up, so then like his ulti wasn't in range. He walks up, gets in range. Look at what he does. So he has a Shumpo up and an ulti, but the thing is, he didn't decide to use the Shumpo because, well, first of all, it's almost up, right? So he could have chose to just wait like just a split second to Shumpo and ulti. But the thing is, if he Shumpo ultied, he wouldn't have any way to get to the Janna. So then, while Jarvan's tanking, him placing the ulti, well, first of all, look out the radius that he's covering. Kog'Maw literally has nowhere to go besides upwards if he doesn't want to die. And on top of that, if Kog'Maw does get the kill here, or gets the reset here, he can immediately jump on the Janna and kill him, because he's positioned himself next to both of them rather than just one of them. But then the thing is, you see Gragas, and he as you can tell, he was looking to go on the Janna, so he throws the Q, knowing that, like, you know, you can just tell that he was looking to get the Janna afterwards. But, you know, he sees Gragas, so he throws a Q and just jumps out. Gets the Shumpo reset, jumps out, dodges the Kog'Maw passive. And let's see where Kassadin is. Kassadin is also here. Let's see if Magifelix decides to do something. Oh, he sets up a Q. Maybe he can go in. Yep. Jump out, maybe. Ends up having to E flash because Kassadin has ulti, so it's just to play it safe. Let's see. So he throws out the Q. This was kind of risky. It looks like he wanted to W out maybe, but you know, he was right next to Gragas, so Gragas was able to get a free E, but it's okay, he had flash. If you're not sure if you're gonna be able to clean up fights or contribute by going in, one thing to note is that if you do have flash, it allows you to go in and try to see out the fights, and if it doesn't go well, you have flash to get out. So that was a very like aggressive yet like risky move that he decided to do, which can pay off hard, but if not, then it's okay. He's gonna be able to get out with flash. Okay, so he does get Hex Shrinker, goes back mid. Kassadin doesn't really do that much damage. Really nice trade. Okay, so let's look at what he does here. So he sees Kassadin, he Qs, right? Kassadin's not that doesn't have that much mana. So the combo he goes here is actually pretty interesting. He goes for a QEW, and what this does is it clears the wave. So basically he's at a minion advantage while Kassadin's up like too close to the minions, and he's undoubtedly gonna take the minion damage. So Magifelix pretty much throws everything on this guy and gets a really good trade-off, pretty much forcing Kassadin to back. And because Kassadin's gonna be forced to back, he's gonna get an extra wave. Applies that extra little pressure on Kassadin. Kassadin's actually not gonna back here, but Magifelix does have a pretty good. He was in a pretty good position there for sure. Okay, let's see. I can't really see from his perspective, but yeah, let's see what happens here. So Kassadin does ulti in. When Kassadin ultis in, it allows Katarina to be able to go in on him without having his blink up for a while. So then, if Katarina does decide to ulti, then Kassadin is going to be forced to tank it, and she does have ignite. So he goes in for E auto. He throws the Q first before igniting, which is pretty smart. So he does that. He gets canceled by Gragas. Galio comes in, and then he just been able to clean it. But know that this whole thing was possible because he went for this trade. Like, if Kassadin was full health or anything, he potentially wouldn't have been able to all in. So he killed all these minions, and he got Kassadin to like below half. And because of that, he was able to go for this play here. Even if Gragas was ganking him, he was able to all in onto the Kassadin because he was half health. Kills the Gragas. Yeah, so that was a good play by him. He applied the right pressure beforehand so that if there was a gank, he would be able to turn it around. Okay, so let's see what he decides. He decides to get double longsword, which is a good which is a good idea because when you go double longsword, know that AP scales well as you level up, right? So AD is better earlier into the game, and eventually building AD is gonna fall off. So you want to build all your AD items first before getting into your AP, which is probably his mindset, but it's okay. Thanks for the host, dude. But it's okay to it's okay to build longswords early. And he is autoing a lot, so against the Kassadin, against the melee matchup, being able to have buffed up autos wouldn't be a bad idea either. So he decides to push this because he sees Kassadin and bot. Only real person that can take like defend this is probably Gragas, but he didn't see him come around. Clears the wave, and he decides to keep pressuring the tower because Kassadin is still bot. So he's probably able to get this. Longswords probably did help a lot here. Doesn't matter what Gragas does here. Oh, he goes for a very aggressive trade. So then, he knows the minions are going to take the tower, so he decides to immediately jump on the Gragas, and what this does is any kind of damage you could put out on any champion for free is really good because they're going to have to play around their health. So then, because Gragas is low, Gragas is pretty low here. He's like, what, 40% health? That means that he has to back like real soon, and that relieves pressure off the map. So going in for free trades like that was a very smart idea by him. So it seems like he used Cat a lot to just deal the damage and just get out, and tries to pressure that way instead of actually just looking for kills, which is very smart on his part because all he's doing is applying as much pressure as he can. Even though he can't exactly kill, he's just looking to just deal damage and force people to back and whatnot. So Gragas, looks like Gragas did end up backing, and because of that, they were able to take his blue. Because Gragas was too low to even go to his blue in the first place. So Galio saw that, he saw that, so that was very good. Very good move by him. Strategical move. Okay, so he pushes mid lane, and now he's looking to roam bot. So if you see, Kassadin is forced to take this because he pushed in. So then, now it gives him a free roam. He's going to use the plant to get closer, and now he's going to go for this bot gank. See how he decides to play this fight. Oh, okay. WQ. Alright. So, let's see his combo here. He could have potentially have messed this combo up with the W, but this can also mean something else. So then, he uses W, right? His W movement speed was allowed him to get his Q. So he's able to Q set up onto them and then he ults. But again, like, because he has his W here, if they ever decide to flash downwards, he's able to cut off this path as well. So I don't know if it was completely intended, but even if it wasn't, that's a good like thing to just look at. And maybe like good option. And then he WQs, and then he gets a double kill. Okay, let's see what happened here. So they want to push down this tower, but Kassadin is coming. Gragas flashes on Cat. He's W. Oh, he doesn't have Q up. Oh, now he does. Is he able to kill? Nice. Is he able to kill in here? Okay. Alright, let's see what happens here. Okay, so let's look at the focus here. Kassadin is actually busy with the Jarvan, and they have a TP up. So then the TP is coming. Gragas uses flash, so he's gonna hard commit into this Gragas. Wait for his Q cooldown to come up. Gets ulted. Kills him with the E Thunderlords. Tries to throw out a combo onto Kassadin, but Kassadin is able to get his damage out first. And he dies. So he gets the Gunblade here. No boots. So he just straight up has Gunblade. And he decides to go for a bot lane gank. So you can see bot lane was trying to focus this tower down. But the thing is, Katarina has very good gap closing, especially against like like people who with no mobility champs, like Kog'Maw and Janna are both, and they just used a lot of resources bot before when he ganked, so he seems like this was a good opportunity for him to lane gank. So he goes in, EWQs onto a minion to be able to gap close onto the Kog'Maw and set up. Then he goes for the Q. See ignite, goes for the same combo, picks up the thing. Waits for the Janna tornado. Fucks up his flash. Well, that's a pretty hard flash. Like the way he positioned himself was like here, when he had to like position himself here before he flashed. But wait, let me see Janna. But he did wait for the tornado, which was good on his part. Yeah, Janna was more this way, but he did fuck up the flash. So that was that. Alright, so there's free farm bottom. Closest farm. And on top of that, he's able to pressure this tower because he saw cast in mid. Pressure's happening top, so he's going to commit to pressuring this bot tower here. He's going to shove in. Wait for the minion waves to come in and start hitting the tower. Alright, so he sees Kog'Maw come up. So he has Gunblade. And Kog'Maw is a no mobility champion, so he's almost guaranteed to get some kind of combo off. A lot of his damage off, right? So he sees the Kog'Maw walking up. He probably positioned himself closer to the other side of the tower because then he's able to jump out of range of the tower once he engages. Oh, but he decides to walk up and then decides to jump back in. Notice how he's not taking tower here because he positioned himself here to where if Kog'Maw walked up after a certain distance, he'd be able to just not be able to tank tower. So that was smart on his part. Don't think he's able to get, don't think he's able to get that. I don't think he saw the Janna. But he tried to do that, he tried to pressure. But that didn't work out and he dies for it. He gets the Sorc Shoes next. Guessing nothing really happened top, but Kassadin did die. So both mid laners died. He's not going to be too behind. Or Kassadin also died, so then the advantages are still kind of even between them. Okay, so let's see where he decides to go. It looks like he decides to go mid lane. Oh, he decides to go bot lane here because there's a little skirmish going on, and you always want to be able to go get ready for these skirmishes. Probably jump on the Kog'Maw. Really fast resetting. Okay, let's see. Is he gonna keep going? Okay, throws out a Q. Nice. EW here maybe? Oh, and then maybe jump. Okay. Alright. So let's see his thought process here. So he sees the Kog'Maw, he sees the Kassadin. Obviously he'd go for the Kog'Maw because Kassadin has ulti, so he's able to juke the daggers and get out of the daggers while Kog'Maw can't. So he jumps on a minion here to get the Gunblade. WQ, notice how he ults. Because he ults here, it's optimal in two ways. First of all, if Kog'Maw decides to juke, then Kog'Maw has to walk down here. The way he threw his dagger meant that if Kog'Maw went this way, he would be able to jump to it. If Kog'Maw went this way, he would be able to ulti. So he covered all of Kog'Maw's options here. So he ults, jumps on the Kog'Maw, and then immediately jumps onto the Kassadin right after. EWQ, Kog'Maw jumps away, or Kassadin jumps away. And then notice how Kassadin is, his only real escape path is down. So then he throws the Q instead of EWQing. So he Qs. I don't really agree with the Shimpo there, because then it kind of gives like an awkward little like moment where he's walking over to the dagger and stuff like that. But he does get the kill anyway. He Qs E's here to try to like go on to the next people, but I also don't agree with that. EWQ probably would have been better. But maybe he'll just try to push out the wave. Ultimately, as long as he gets his tower, he gets what he needs. Okay, so it looks like they're going to keep committing to this tower maybe? No, there's no minions. So they're going to see what they can get next. Mid lane does not look like a bad option here because there's a pretty big wave here. So they decide to go mid. Okay, his team decides to go mid while he decides to split bottom. Ooh, that's dead Gragas. I'm guessing he just knew his damage and was able to... Wait, did he see the Gragas at all before? Okay, Gragas was recalling. So, okay, he could be thinking that because there's a wave coming that someone will try to contest it, and it would not be Poppy. Poppy's already top lane, so it could be either Kog'Maw, Cassidy, Gragas, which is people that he can actually kill. So then maybe he sees this. Yeah, he sees the Gragas. That's almost like a it's almost like a prediction play at that point. Let me see how he played out the combo though. So he EW'd and then ulted, and then Gragas wasn't able to get his ulti off in time. And he's gonna back here because he's low. Okay, so he gets the hunting guys here for that extra pen. Let's look at the enemy team. Kog'Maw has a Negatron. Poppy has a Spectre's Cowl plus another no magic. So they don't really have much MR on the team, so Void Staff isn't going to be as effective. Let's see. Here, again, Kog'Maw is too close to minions, so he's overextending. He's way too close to minions, so he takes advantages by jumping onto any nearby minion close enough for him to be able to gunblade Kog'Maw. EWQ sets up on him, Nautilus is able to get an ulti off, and then he's able to jump in onto the Kog'Maw. Like I said, minions are very, very good. Okay, let's see what he does here. And then Jarvan catches off the Janna, so he EWQs onto the Jarvan to get into range of Janna so he can set up. So Kog'Maw is actually like kind of losing them the game because he keeps getting picked off and doesn't really respect the Katarina jumping around, but then again it is kind of hard to realize. So notice that with those 2 kills they decide to go mid. And let's see, they don't decide to push any further because everyone's starting to respawn. So this looks like he just wants to farm this wave out. Probably not going to jump in on that. He could just E out if he wanted to. Looks like he might be going for some kind of bait, outplay. Okay. Still has his Shimpo, he has his Q as well. Wow. Okay, so as you can see, he has his E, right? But he sees Nautilus coming and he also sees Jarvan coming. So it looks like he wants to try to bait something here. And then he throws out his Q to try to set up something as Jarvan and Nautilus are walking in. Doesn't decide to go in. He sets up a W so that he has something to run back to after he jumps onto the Q, as you can tell. So that was really good on his part, but he ends up baiting his team with that bait. So that was unfortunate, but that was a pretty smart way to try to bait them in. He knew he was tanky enough. He had the help from Haunting Guys. He had Hex Shrinker as well. Getting too close to Kog'Maw here is very dangerous. It is a 5v4, so they probably would have to let this go. Oh, but Jarvan does decide to go in with Galio. Wow, really good position on them. Oh, Cat doesn't have... Holy shit. Okay. Let's see the fight here. So Poppy flashed out. He sets up here onto the Kog'Maw. Just try to like get a pretty much set up like over here from like a line this way, right? He gets interrupted by the Gragas, but Kog'Maw stands too close, so he decides to flash onto the dagger and ulti, and then he starts to reset. Probably would have been smarter if he jumped out, or he maybe used the QEW combo instead. But as you can tell, the EWQ combo was a little too slow, and he wasn't able to get any of his daggers off. And on top of that, he did take the exhaust, but his team was actually able to win that. Because that was a really good engage by Jarvan, and he had a really good follow-up by Galio. Some challenger plays going on right here. Okay, so he builds into Leandries. Enemies not building too much MR. They only have 2 people with MR, so him building Leandries is okay. And on top of that, it's weird holding a Haunting Guys and a Hex Shrinker at the same time, because if you hold both, it's like two incompleted items. So at that point, it'd be better off to finish Landry, so you don't really lose. You don't really lose much. Let's see. Wow, he just knows his damage so well. It's actually pretty insane. He's probably just gonna jump out here. Okay. So again, if Kassadin ultis in, he's gonna be able to kill him. If he ultis in and Qs, so then he overextends here, it seems like. He W's out. He immediately jumps onto the Kassadin as he ults. And then he E ults and then Gunblades as he ults. And then he kills him and then he tries to reset onto the Gragas, but everyone's there. So really good solo play on his part. Let's see. Oh, Kog'Maw does a fuck ton of damage. Can't really go in on the Cog just because of Janna. Janna's gonna be able to protect him. Okay. Good job. So let's see what he decides to do here. So he sees the Kog'Maw, he sets up a Q, right? He sees the Kog'Maw around it, so he eat W's out to try to like bait Kog'Maw in, like position wise maybe. So this is just a safe option of jumping in and out. And then the moment Kog'Maw does get jumped on and Katarina isn't the focus, he goes in, helps him kill him, and then jumps out. Kog'Maw is gonna be able to deal some damage, but not really. So they go for the dragon here, and then they back. Let's see how much gold he backs with, and let's see what he actually decides to buy. Maybe Void Staff here, to be honest. So if he gets a Blasting Wand, I wouldn't be surprised. He does get a Blasting Wand. I do think he's going for Void Staff. So Magificer's build is usually like, it's Gunblade, Leandry's Void. He does that a lot. So it's probably what his build's gonna be. So goes in for a push, and then team decides to pressure top. Kog'Maw's mid, so they do decide to go in on the top, the people at top lane. Kog'Maw's not going to be able to be there. Probably has to W. Can't engage because he doesn't have Shrimpo. But notice how he's not really doing his own thing when his team is like pressuring. He's gonna E ulti. He could probably E W. Yep. Nicely played. Let's see the fight here. Okay, so Poppy's low. He sets up a Q on the Gragas and he has Shrimpo. Jumps in on the Gragas and sees that Kog'Maw and Kassadin are both off to the side. So it's actually pretty pretty safe for him to go in on this tower, even though he knows he might get CC'd by the Gragas. And then he E's W, Qs, and then E's out. So they're probably able to push inhib off this. Ooh, they can't get the inhib. Okay, so he sets up a W to see if they do decide to go in. And he does go in on the Kog'Maw. Eat WQs. And then maybe jumps out here. Nice. Holy shit. Okay. So he sees whole team is low and someone might actually overextend here. So he sets up a W. And he seems like he's looking for that Kog'Maw to go in on. Janna Tornado's already used. So Kassadin already jumps in. He jumps in onto the Kog'Maw. Q. Ults. And then jumps back onto the Q dagger to get that little burst. And then he eats WQs onto the Kog'Maw or the Kassadin, and then he jumps out. So really good bait play on his part. He does have the resist to kind of tank that with the Hex Shrinker and the Leandries. So yes, he does buy Void Staff here. As you can see, Gragas is gonna build into some MR with that no magic. Kog'Maw is pretty MR heavy with the Wit's End, And Jad doesn't really have any MR. But yeah, it's pretty standard build for him. Okay, let's see what they decide to do here. So he walks into the jungle with his team. Sees the Gragas. Does he try to combo here? Ooh, maybe he can get something here. But Poppy, okay, jumps out. Is he E in? Yep, he E's in because Poppy also uses her dash. And maybe goes in. Jumps out. Oh, jumps in actually. WQ. Nice. And that was all because he's just going in and out, like knowing his potential. So then, okay. So first of all, he's challenging a Gragas and a Poppy, who don't really deal that much damage to Katarina, which is fine because Gragas is tank, Poppy is also tank, so he has Void Staff, so he's able to chip him away slowly with his combos. Notice how he plays around his cooldowns like really well. So he uses his Q, his E is up now, he jumps out, his Q is up, his E is up in 5 seconds, so he Qs, he waits for his E to come up, and he goes in, and he has his W up, so he Ws, and then he has Q up again, so he E's again, and then they jump out, and then he ultis in, because they don't really have anything to respond. Gets a Shumpa reset, he WQ with the flash, and cleans up. So that was a really good play on his part. It seems like he knew he had the pressure from his team, and on top of that, the prime damage dealers weren't really there, like Kog'Maw and Kassadin. And I believe they get to end the game here. Okay, let's see these little skirmishes. He W's, he has Q, he set up his Q, sets up a Q onto the Kassadin, onto the minions. And then this should be over here. Does the ulti? Yes, he does. EWQ. Jumps on the Poppy afterwards. Nice. Alright, so really well played game by Magifelix. So as you can tell, he was able to do things on his own, and he knew his potential very well. So then, like, even when it came to making picks and stuff like that, he actually knew what he was doing. So pretty good game on his part. He is challenger, so yeah, there's a lot to analyze. Wasn't sure like exactly if everything was intentional, but a lot of times like it did work out in his favor, and his setups did. He did work around his setups really well. So yeah, that was the replay analysis for Magifelix, whatever.